whether she is mother, wife, sister, friend, stranger. If the U.S. were a woman, however you want to place her, what would you say to her?
I would tell her, you've been pillaged, you've been taken advantage of, you've been hurt, and you have a number of scars that I myself and everybody can see. The biggest thing is, I want you to have patience. I know you have a lot of patience right now, but I want you to keep bearing patience because things will get better. People will see the scars. And the biggest thing is stopping these reoccurrences. And as long as you bear with us, we will get you to a point where we'll improve you and make you even better and stronger.
Welcome to 365 Brothers, the podcast. I'm your host, Robin Shine. I am delighted to bring to you brothers from across the United States and from various professions talking about their life experiences, their wisdom, and a conversation that also touches on racial profiling in the United States, how pervasive it is, what the impact is. And remember, you can follow us on Instagram at 365 Brothers. Also, follow us on Facebook at 365 Brothers, the podcast. If this is your first time listening to a 365 Brothers episode, make sure you subscribe because you do not want to miss one brother's wisdom, one brother's experience, and their perspective on life in the United States.
What would you say to America if she was a woman?
I love that question. Really, I set up a relationship when I hear that question. I look at my relationship with America as if I've been in a relationship with this woman that I adore and love, but she doesn't love me the same way. I don't know if you've been in a relationship where you really tried to make it work, but it's like you don't want to say too much, but you're pleading to make a relationship work. What I constantly try to say is, what can I do to let you know how much I care about you? You keep treating me a certain type of way, but I adore you. I love everything you stand for, but it doesn't seem like you love me the same way. And I don't know what I can do to gain your love. That would be my statement that I'd say to America.
As we finish out our second season, today's compilation is an answer to, if the United States was a woman, what would you say to her? The answers come from brothers from season 1. We'll also have another brother. His episode will air this week. He'll be the final brother interviewed in season 2. And then on Tuesday, on May 25th, we will air our final episode for season 2. It's a compilation of interactions with the police. May 25th was the date that George Floyd was murdered. It was the event that led to the desire to create this podcast, interviewing 365 Black men from across the United States. And as you listen, click on the link to complete our end of season survey. And finally, if you know a brother who should be on this podcast, please refer them to 365brothers.com. We're interviewing for season 3 now. Season 3 begins on July 5th.
If the U.S. were a woman, however you want to place her, what would you say to her?
What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Why don't you love? Why am I not enough? Why am I not good enough for you? I just leave it at that.
Okay.
I mean,
no, go ahead. You got something to say. Go ahead.
I say that not only with respect to my own personal experience, but I think that also intersects with what I would say to America as a Black man. What's wrong with me? When it comes to dating, I did look at this question in the context of dating. You know, when it comes to dating, you know, people have personal choice, but, you know, oftentimes, as I said, people get overlooked, you know, for a variety of reasons. And sometimes it's like, dude, you don't even realize I'm the best thing you'll never have, right? You're missing out on something great in your life because of how you disrespect me. You don't know what you're missing out on. You don't know what you're losing because you won't respect me as an individual, as a man. I have so much to offer that would enhance you, that would not necessarily make you better, but would add to your life, that would bring value to your life, just as you bring value to mine. But you treat me like I ain't worth nothing. And then got the nerve to get mad when I look somewhere else.
Okay. No, I felt that one.
I felt that
one. I felt
it's
that
true,
one.
though. It's true. You won't give me the time of day. Full disclosure, my first wife was Black, right? My current wife is Dominican. You know, I've had women say, "Oh, you just don't like Black women." No, that's not true. I love Black women. I love all women. But I love Black women. But Black women don't love me. The one that I thought loved me loved the idea of me, not me. You can't reject me. And then because I have a desire to love and be loved and find that in another, then to say that's the problem. And America's the same way. You know, you mistreat us, you do us wrong. We finally have enough, and some people have taken to the streets, and they're doing more than nonviolent protesting. And I already know that all the looting is not coming from us. That there are anti-Black racists out there who are stirring this stuff up. But there's also a significant portion of us who's like, we've had enough. Fine, that's how it is. You know, or you can't have it both ways.
If America was a woman, whether friend, neighbor, lover, whatever. If America was a woman, what would you say to her?
Okay. Well, I would say that after 400 long years of trying to make this thing work, this relationship work, and trying to live in peace and harmony with each other, to no avail, it's probably best for us to now go our separate ways. And I would ask her for a divorce.
I know you don't say that lightly.
You know, my dad, you know, he left the United States altogether, probably when he was around 35 years old. You know, he moved to the Caribbean. And you know, he was fed up with the social injustices. He decided, why did he need to stay here and suffer through the oppression when he could go to another Black country and live out the full manifestation of his life, you know, as a Black person, without being treated unfairly, without, you know, just being under the white power structure here in the United States. And so I think I kind of take after my dad in many ways, in traveling back and forth to Africa and seeing the possibilities that are there for Black people. Ghana is a country that is asking for Black people to come back home and to build. And so I kind of think that as long as we remain here in the United States under this framework, there's always going to be some type of injustice is committed against Black people. We are not the majority here in this country, and the attitude that we see being displayed by the president of the United States, by the Republican Party, by the power structure, by many in society who just don't respect us as human beings and individuals. I don't really see America becoming, this rainbow society accepting of all of its citizens, irrespective of race and color. I kind of feel like if we continue to stay here, there's going to be another police shooting of a Black man or Black woman. There's going to be some other incident that we have to get out and protest against. And how long are we willing to endure this type of treatment? So you can either stay or you can leave. I don't see us ever getting into a position of us being in control of the United States in terms of taking state power. And so I think that we need to do what the 13 colonies did when they wrote the Declaration of Independence. And they said, whenever a people feel that it's their time to take up their station and join the ranks of the other free peoples of the earth, then they should make a declaration as to why they're doing it and join the other free peoples of the earth. But here we are, subservient to the will of others. And we don't determine our own destiny as a people. We don't determine economic policy. We don't determine foreign policy. We don't determine overall social. Now, of course, we do have some influence, but influence is different than having power. There's a big difference. If somebody comes to you and asks you for a job, and you say, oh, well, I know somebody who can hire you, that's influence. But power is when somebody comes to you and say, hey, I need a job. And then you say, well, hey, I'll employ you. So I think overall, we have influence indeed, but we don't really have power. We have not joined the ranks of all the other free peoples of the world who are determining their destiny. Even little countries in the Caribbean are determining their own destiny. Jamaica, Haiti, Barbados, Antigua, they're determining their own destiny, but yet, and we're all the same people, by the way, but we here in the United States, haven't gotten to that place yet. And so I don't see us going up against the United States government, taking it over so that we can, have state power. So I think for me, it's just best for me to issue the United States a bill of divorcement and for us to go our separate ways, whether it be to Liberia. They set up Liberia for former slaves to go back to Africa if they so desired. Right. And believe it or not, Africa is a very different place than it was perhaps even, 40, 50 years ago. If it's comfort, the comforts of the United States that we are looking for, well, you can look at countries like South Africa and see how wealthy it is. Look at the housing. It's the same type of houses that you'll see here in the United States, the same type of freeways and the same type of cities and so on and so forth. So do you want to stay here and endure the type of insults, the type of insults when a Colin Kaepernick kneels and then the president of the United States calls him an SOB and calls for him to be fired? Do you want to stay here and endure that type of insult from the president in 2020? Or do you want to go to a place like Ghana that is saying, come back home. Come back home and invest in your own country, in your own land. Come back home. We welcome you. So if the United States were a woman, I would say this has been a bad relationship from the start. You know, we just simply don't see eye to eye, you know, and we've been trying to make it work. We've been patient. I've been patient with you, you know, but now I'm fed up. I'm tired. It is time for us to go our separate ways.
Okay.
And by the way, you can see a connection in the title, The Black Exodus and the End of the Age, in terms of my book, and why Bob Marley's song Exodus is one of my favorite songs.
Yes, I think that is quite clear.
A quick note here. In June, celebrating Pride Month, the second week will air 5 episodes recognizing some of our LGBTQ brothers. Hope you'll tune in the second week of June, but make sure you check out our compilation on May 25th, our final episode of Season 2.
If the United States was a woman, what would you say to her?
That's a hard one. I mean, that is a real hard question. I would say love more, understand more. You know, we're in a society where everybody has an opinion about everything, and you think your opinion is the right one. You know, it's your opinion. You know, right, wrong, or indifferent is yours. I would just say love and understand more. I think that's what we're missing. You know, it's okay to be different, but don't be rude different. You know, it's okay to have an honest debate, but now we can't even talk to each other. You know, communication is out.
You know, I'm older, so I still do Facebook. I'm not on TikTok and Snapchat.
I'm not on none of that either. Still Facebook.
But I have a few people that are of a different political opinion, and it never got in the way of having a friendship, right? And it still is not in the way of our being friendly. However, I've noticed that a lot of what has it get so toxic in the interactions is the memes, and it's like we're trying to communicate with as few words as possible, right, with a visual and a few words on it, or a shocking statistic. And then what ends up happening is we're slinging sound bites and memes and not having a conversation, and then we somehow identify with these little snippets of what life is.
Right.
And now we can't have a conversation with anybody because we are boxed into this snippet.
This already the past. Somebody could done something in the past. Now they've changed their views, but we hold that against them. You know, and it's on both sides. And then you can't, we were in high school. I mean, one thing I did like about high school is when we had debates. You know, you got all your facts together, but it was an honest debate. You're trying to win this debate. It didn't get violent. Nobody's yelling and screaming. You had the little cliches, but that was about it. Now it's, I got to punch you. I got to call you names and all this other kind of stuff. So I just, and I have friends that's on Facebook that, different political, whatever. And they're still my friends. But I always tell people, now you know. I'd rather know than not know.
Yeah.
I just rather know, when we moved in the neighborhood that we're in now, we had a neighbor across the street had the rebel flag across the street, I can't believe you got that. I say, now you know. Now you know what you're dealing with, so it's a wave and keep it moving. There's not going to be, hey, let me come over to your house. You come over to my house. Mm-hmm. I know what you represent. I'm okay with it. That's your belief. Wave at you and keep it moving.
If America was a woman, what would you say to her?
America, in my opinion, America is like a strong woman. The reason I say that, when you think of a strong woman, she's ambitious, she's forward thinking, she's a go-getter. That's a strong woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And America is like that. When you think of a go-getter, a strong woman. So I would tell her to stay strong and powerful. Like any woman that you're dating or you're married to, a powerful woman is an asset to a man.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. So I would tell her to stay powerful and strong.
Okay.
By us being one of the strongest nations in the world, that's what gives us, as the citizens of the U.S., the opportunity to go out there and make as much money as we want to make. We have all the opportunities in the world. We have, basically, being in America, we can do anything we want to do. We can accomplish anything we want to accomplish. We just have to work towards getting it.
Yeah.
You know, President Obama was the first Black president. You think it came easy? No, he had to work at it, and he had to have a game plan. You know, in America, there's probably more Black millionaires in America than are in any other country in the world, right? So for us, that's why I say it for America to stay powerful and stay strong, so that all of us can still go out there and accomplish our goals and dreams.
If America was a woman, what would you say to her?
What the hell is going on, bruh? And I would call the female bruh. What the hell is going on? I said, this is a great idea. Horribly executed. We need to start over. But since we can't do that, and there is no equal right now, because Black and brown folks are working from a deficit at this point. So we need to start over, and here are the people you need to get right with first.
Mm-hmm.
How this thing even came to be, because when you say that, I'm going back to 1491.
Okay.
Like that's where I go when we talk about America, or like, what would I say to her? It's like, I got to start there. And then as we go, like, this was terrible how we even came to be over here. Everything that I've read, everything that I've learned, everything that I know, this is really messed up, and you need to get right with all of these folks. That's where we got to start. There's no way to fix this. Like, you need to get right with everybody you need to get right with. And then we can dismantle systems of oppression. Yeah, that's how it started. I mean, we could have all sorts of conversations.
Yeah, I appreciate you, going back to the 1490s, because when I have always asked the question, I've always been thinking back to, America, the one that was started with our, maybe not the Constitution, maybe Articles of Confederation, or go back to the Revolutionary War, whatever, but, somewhere in the 1700s. Yeah. So I really appreciate you taking it back, all the way back. So, Landon, whether she is mother, wife, sister, friend, stranger, if America was a woman, what would you say to her?
I would tell her, you've been pillaged, you've been taken advantage of, you've been hurt, and you have a number of scars that I myself and everybody can see. The biggest thing is, I want you to have patience. I know you have a lot of patience right now, but I want you to keep bearing patience, because things will get better. People will see the scars, and the biggest thing is stopping these reoccurrences. And as long as you bear with us, we will get you to a point where we'll improve you and make you even better and stronger.
I like how you create her as suffering alongside us, which is a fact, right? Because this nation, if you look at the nation, and by the way, I want to acknowledge, because one of my friends did point out that I always say if America was a woman, when really what I mean is the United States, but what I and how you said that, I can experience what it might feel like to have all this racial divide, political divide. Like if you were a being that had that kind of divide, it's like being a person who's suffering from a cancer. It hurts,
Mm-hmm.
And it has an impact on the entire system. And to hang in there, we will heal. So Thank you. I like that.
If the United States was a woman with whom you could speak, whether mother, lover, friend, stranger, neighbor, what would you say to her?
I would just ask, like, what do you need? Because like what we have isn't working. So what do you need in order to meet the needs of the people? Yeah, meet the needs of the people, because so many of our needs aren't getting met. So how do we focus on, the things that we need instead of the things that, we're afraid of?
If America was a woman, what would you say to her?
For 3 nights that has haunted me trying to figure out, I've come up with a street response that would go over well probably on the main line in the prison. I've come up with a personal response. So I don't know where I guess what I'm saying is that you're disrespectful. You ain't got no clothes on. You know how people will say the emperor has no clothes on, or the emperor's nude, whatever, and sort of what that means, you out here vulnerable, but most of all, you disrespectful. So your values are real weak. You've lied, you've cheated, you misrepresented yourself and the family. So I don't know, run for divorce or something. I don't know.
I got that. All right.
You got time for this answer? I wrote it out.
Okay.
For with much wisdom comes much sorrow. The more knowledge, the more grief. The preacher speaks from Ecclesiastes. This pain I feel, I cannot describe, but these words I hear, I cannot deny. Words ringing, words singing, words resonating in my soul. What words that repeated through the annals of time. He was angry. He was aggressive. He resisted. He ran away. He fought back. I feared for my life. He was sleeping. He died in her cell. He died jogging. He died sitting in his car. He died asleep in his car. He had a fake $20 bill. Words I hear minute by minute. Words I hear every hour. Words I hear every day, every week, every month. Words I hear every year. Words I have heard for 400 years, but they all mean the same thing. Dead, 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 dead. Not murdered, just dead, and zero accountability. The words come all day, fast and furious, every day. Words are loud, louder, loud is loud, but clear. Know your place, black man. But that's not what they really mean, because even if you do the right thing and know your place, it doesn't mean a thing. You see, it don't matter to them because they want you to feel deep in your soul and every fiber of your being that you don't have a place here at all. 3/5 of a human, you shall be that, and that is all. You see, when you fly that flag, I dare not say which flag, it don't matter. It's really all the same. And it never truly counted me in. You see, that's how you still see me, as less than human. But I see clearly now why you do what you do and act the way you act. You see, I'm less than human in your sight. Can you see me now? Your words and deeds say no. How is it that you cannot see me? You can choke me to death when you don't see me. You can shoot me in the back when you don't see me. You can come into my house and shoot me when I'm sleeping when you don't see me. You can shoot me in my grandparents' backyard when you don't see me. You can shoot me on the bar platform when you don't see me. You can shoot me in my car with my girlfriend and my child in the car when you don't see me. You can put your knee on my neck and lynch me when you don't see me. This pain I feel I cannot describe, but these words I hear I cannot deny. You don't see me. You don't see me. But you know why you fear me, and so do I. You see how I can be at a loss for words when to say, when my people created the very word. How can I be at a loss for words? Can you see me, America? Can you see me now? To be continued, because this story is far from told.
Remember, you can follow us on Instagram at 365 Brothers. Also, follow us on Facebook at 365 Brothers, the podcast. Lastly, I just want to let you know, producing a podcast, it takes something, and I'm really grateful to have partnered with alidu.com. They make publishing easy. There's a link in the show notes for anyone who either has a podcast or is thinking about a podcast. You don't need to learn all that sound balancing and compression. Save all that. Use your time for what matters, interviewing and sharing the stories that your podcast brings. Thank you for listening to 365 Brothers. I certainly hope you enjoyed the episode. I encourage you to subscribe. Please leave a review. I want to know what you think. Also, if you know someone who would be a fantastic guest for 365 Brothers, please direct them to our website, 365brothers.com. You'll also find all the episodes there, 365brothers.com. And your support is welcome. And remember, to listen is to love.